This week we're going to take a little bit of a break of Hilchos Brachos. And we're going to go to Shavuot. Also have to do with Brachos a little bit.
Are you speaking this on Shavuot night at the Shomer Shabbos? Is this the topic?
No, why?
Instead of coming.
Oh yeah? No, it's not topic. Yeah. So, we all know there's a minig in Klal Yisrael and Shavuot is to eat milchiks. Now, when do we eat milchiks? Do we eat a whole milchik suda? Do we eat milchiks and then fleishiks? So, l'maisa, a lot of people have a minig that they eat milchiks and then in the same suda or the bench in between, they go ahead and they eat fleishiks. They make kiddush and they eat milchiks, and then afterwards they go ahead and they eat fleishiks. That's the minig. Now the truth is, in the Ramah it says that you're supposed to have a milchik suda. You're supposed to wash. And the reason why the Ramah brings down the reason why we have milchiks on Shavuot, and the Achayim and other reasons, but the reason of the Ramah, that the reason why we eat milchiks on Shavuot is because on Shavuot the carbon was a shtei halachem. They brought shtei halachem on Shavuot. Now, if you eat milchiks and then you eat fleishiks in the same suda, you have to change the challah, the bread. You're not allowed to use the same bread you had for milchiks or fleishiks, because it was choishes that you touched it with your milchik hands, and therefore you have to have a new bread. So therefore they had the minute to eat milchiks and fleishiks, so therefore you'll have two different breads. A zecher, the shnei halachem that they had at the times of the Beis HaMikdash. So if that's the case, then what we should really do is we should have a suda of milchiks and then a suda of fleishiks.
I see these four.
What for?
Yeah,
lachem mishnah. Yeah, okay. But what it means is the bread that you eat in the suda with. Otherwise, to the minute in Klal Yisrael, most people don't wash for milchiks and then again for fleishiks. The minute in Klal Yisrael is to eat milchiks by kiddush and then to go ahead and eat a fleishik suda afterwards. So we're going to go with that minute. We're not going to go with the bread. But what happens if someone eats milchiks and afterwards he wants to go ahead and eat fleishiks? What has to be done? We know if you eat fleishiks and then you want to eat milchiks, you have to wait 6 hours. But how about if you eat milchiks and then you want to eat fleishiks? What's the halacha? What do you have to do?
Have a schnapps.
Have a l'chaim, yeah.
Washes everything.
L'chaim takes care of everything.
That's why you make l'chaim after the fish, no?
That's something
water.
else. That's something else. That's fish and meat.
Right.
Here it's milchiks and fleishiks.
The same idea.
Yeah. So the Mishnah Berurah in Hilchos Shavuot says that if you had milchiks and then you want to eat fleishiks, you don't have to bench in between. That means you had, let's say you made a mezainis, you had some cheesecake, you had a kiddush, and now you want to go with fleishiks. What do you have to do in between the milchiks and the fleishiks? All you have to do is rinse out your mouth. Kinuach and hadacha. Kinuach and hadacha is, one is with liquid, rinse it out with liquid, and one is kinuach, means so you have to eat something in between. A piece of bread or something that cleans out the mouth. That's the halacha.
Half the fact you have it in your teeth. You might have a piece of cheese.
So we're not chosh that cheese gets stuck between your teeth.
Really?
Yes, only meat. Meat or chosh gets stuck between your teeth. Cheese, yeah. So cheese usually not. We'll see in a second what type of cheese. Okay. So the mechaber, this is really the mechaber Hilchos Basar B'Chalav. Those who joined us at Basar B'Chalav know it already. The mechaber says, "Achal gvina mutar lechal achar basar miyad." If you eat cheese, you're allowed to eat meat right afterwards. Ubavacha your eye and yada, make sure your hands are clean. There's no residue from the milchiks on it. You wash your hands, and you have to be mekanech, wipe out your mouth, and you have to rinse your mouth. Two separate things: wiping it and rinsing it. What is it? Hakinuachu sheyilo is pas. You should chew bread. You kanech by piv yafa, and you wipe out your mouth well. And other things. Also says you could use.
So there has to be something solid. The watermelon won't do it.
No. And then you go ahead and you rinse it out with water. Kinuach and then hadacha. That's what the mechaber says. So you have to go ahead and take something that could that could wipe out your mouth.
Absorb the food.
Yeah, that could absorb it and wipe it out, and then you go ahead and you rinse it out with water.
That's only on a soft cheese.
No, we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to soft cheese and hard cheese in a second. So that's the halacha in between from milchiks to fleishiks. Now, today, you have toothbrushes. So the person can say, you take a toothbrush and you brush your teeth in between milchiks and fleishiks. Oh, a second. So that's not an issue. I'm talking about during the week. During the week, you want to go and brush your teeth between milchiks and fleishiks. According to this halacha, you don't have to wait. Take a toothbrush, brush your teeth, and you finish, you're okay, you're good to go, you can eat fleishiks.
Who during the week that has milchiks and fleishiks right after?
Who?
Yeah.
People have. I don't know, but I have it all the time. We come to eat supper every night. My kids always just had milk.
Ice cream.
They always just had either cheese or they always have the child. Kids always, they're gnashing on cheese and stuff, and then by the way, okay, it's supper time, and they have to eat fleishiks. Yeah. We'll get to the milk and cookies soon. I hopefully have time for that. The whole question with the milk and the cookies. But the v'yesh machmirim. Sorry. So that you brush your teeth. You brush your teeth, you're fine. Now, how about Yom Tov? You can't brush your teeth, so you have to make sure you do a real kinuach. I mean, you can't just go ahead and rinse out your mouth with a drink and then go with fleishiks. You have to have a real kinuach. Take something solid, eat something solid in your mouth, and then you go ahead and eat fleishiks. Now, there are some places that hold that a toothbrush. There's nothing wrong with using a toothbrush on Shabbos and Yom Tov. The only reason why you can't use a toothbrush on Shabbos and Yom Tov is because maybe it's chita. Besides breaking the bristles, chita is squeezing out from the brush. Toothbrushes don't really hold anything inside of them, so it's not called chita. So if you hold a toothbrush, it's not called chita, then you can go ahead even on Yom Tov and brush your teeth without toothpaste. Toothpaste is another problem. I'm talking about a regular toothbrush with water. You want to go ahead, you make kiddush, you eat milchiks, you want to go ahead now for fleishik suda, take a toothbrush, and you can brush your teeth. Yeah, you have a Shabbos toothbrush also.
You can buy that?
Yeah.
Where do you get it? Sophie's?
No, Israel.
If you get a Shabbos toothbrush, then the best thing to do is after you eat the milchiks, take the toothbrush, and you have no issues. Then you're okay. Yeah, the breaking of the bristles.
$25?
No.
The breaking of the bristle is not really an issue because it has to be a psikration. It's not a psikration. So if you have a Shabbos toothbrush for sure, the best thing is just to brush your teeth in between, and then you have no problems. You can eat the suda right away. Now, v'yesh machin afilu basar achar gvina, shekol shel gvina kosher, ein oichel achrei afilu basar oif. If it's hard cheese, then you have to wait the same way you wait for fleishiks and milchiks.
What the hard cheese?
So what's called hard cheese? Today, most of the cheeses today are not called hard cheese. Most of the milchiks that we're eating, especially the cheesecake, stuff like that, is not called hard cheese. It's all called soft cheese. Hard cheese is those, some people say Swiss cheeses. The Parmesan cheese, some people say is considered the hard cheese. But today by Kiddush, Shavuot morning, most people are not eating those hard cheeses. So if you're not eating those hard cheeses, you don't have to wait 6 hours. Kinuach va'adacha is enough. That's what the Mechaber says. But there's a lot of cholkim on the Mechaber. And a lot of people hold, and the Mishmur brings it down in the Hilchos Shavuos, you don't have to bench in between, you go ahead and you eat, you do kinuach va'adacha, you're fine. The Ma'aseh the Pri Megadim in Hilchos Basar V'Cholav brings down that there are a lot of people that are makbid, that even from milchiks to fleishiks, you should not eat it in the same suda. We were just saying, you make kiddush, you eat cheesecake, you don't bench, you brush your teeth, and you continue eating fleishiks, it's in the same suda. You didn't bench in between. There are some people that are makbid, that from milchiks to fleishiks, you don't have to wait, but it can't be the same suda. You have to bench in between. Alamechia. You make alamechia in between, you make alamechia and then you go ahead and you wash.
Is that what we do? Or that?
So it depends. The Chassidim are very makbar on that. It comes from a Zohar. The Zohar says that the same way you can't eat fleishiks, the milchiks in the same suda, The same thing, you can't eat milchiks and then fleishiks in the same Suda. You're not allowed to have milchiks and fleishiks in the same Suda, period. Nothing to do with waiting. Milchiks and fleishiks are not allowed to have in the same Suda. If that's the case, if you eat milchiks and then you want to eat fleishiks, you have to bench in between. You have to go ahead and bench in between. You can't go ahead and just go straight into the fleishik Suda.
Within what time frame would that be then?
No time. You want to, one have to
Let's
wait.
say you had, you had half an hour. You had a milchik or something.
It doesn't make a difference. You can make kiddush,
Yeah.
eat cheesecake, and you wait a half hour. Kinuach ba'adacha. Doesn't make a difference. As long as it's in the same Suda, you're not allowed to eat fleishiks.
So what if you didn't have enough to say al then?
No problem.
No problem.
No problem. Eat more.
Yeah.
No,
It's
so
more.
what about-
You have enough.
have a kazayas, so you don't.
No, you make it by fascists. You make it by fascists.
You want to wash it?
Yeah, make it by fascists.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to separate between the milchiks and the fleishiks. The Rebbe brings it down and says kedai lahachmir, and today I don't know why it came out this way. Maybe because it's a zoyag where it comes from, but a chassidusha the makbid to bench in between, to have separate sudas, and to bench in between milchiks and fleishiks to make al michya, separate the sudas. Al michya is enough, yeah. Al michya, and then you still have to do kinuach v'adacha.
Yeah.
The kinuach v'adacha you're still going to have to do. Just make al michya and then wash. The problem with this is that if you don't have to make al michya, and you're making al michya, it's a bracha levatala. How can you go ahead and make al michya? So I just want to take a few minutes to discuss this. And it's the same Shabbos as another Geya this year when you have Shabbos Erev Yom Tov. Similar Shabbos. And I'm going to leave the milchiks and fleishiks for a second, and we'll come back to it soon. You have this Shabbos is Erev Yom Tov. So you have an issue, right? When are you going to eat Shalosh Shabbos? You can't eat later on because you're not allowed to eat Suda so late. So what we do is you split the Suda, you eat the Shabbos morning Suda, you bench, and then you wash again and you eat the third Suda.
Or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock.
Yeah, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock is late already.
You can have supper till 8. 8:30.
Yeah, okay.
Till 9 actually.
Yeah. So a lot of people do, they split the Sudas.
9:30.
Now, the question is, are you allowed to split the Suda? You go ahead, you middle of the Suda Shabbos, you're benching, and then you're washing again to eat Shalosh Sudas. What happens? The bracha is tzricha, it's a bracha levatala. So this is really a machlokes in the Rishonim. Taisvis in Shabbos says that if someone wants to go ahead and he's eating the Shabbos Suda in the morning, and it comes time, it's mincha time already, and you're allowed to eat Shalosh Sudas, this is one thing you have to remember. You're not allowed to eat Shalosh Sudas in the morning. You're not yet. Shalosh Sudas has to be mincha time. Has to be after Chatzos. So if someone's eating the Suda Shabbos and it's stretched past Chatzos, and now he wants to eat Shalosh Sudas. So he wants to bench and wash again. So the Tosfos says over here in Shabbos that you can't do it. It's a bracha she'ein tzricha. It's a bracha she'ein tzricha. You bench it and you wash it again. It's a bracha she'ein tzricha. The Rosh argues. Tosfos in Shabbos, Kuf Yud Ches, Amar Aleph. The Rosh in Shuvos argues. The Rosh says that no, if you want to go ahead and you want to bench and wash again for a new Suda, it's not a problem because you're doing it for a reason. What's a bracha she'ein tzricha? I'm making a bracha that I don't need. I anyway have to eat a third Suda. So I'm benching and I'm washing for a reason. I'm benching because it's a first Suda. I have to eat a second Suda. So the Rosh holds it's not called a bracha she'ein tzricha because you're doing it for a reason. And that's what we paskin. The Mechaber in the Hilchos Shabbos, Reish Sadik Aleph, I think it's Siv Gimel, paskins, that if you wash for Shachris in the morning and you want to split the Suda, you're allowed to bench and then wash again for Suda Shlishis. It's not a problem. The Magen Avram says, but you have to stand up from your place. You can't just sit in the same place and bench and wash again. Now what does that mean? So it means like this. I don't want to go through the whole thing now, it's a complicated issue, but basically what the Magen Avram means is that when you're eating a Suda and you're benching and you're washing again, you have a right to bench and wash again because you want to be able to Shalosh Sudas. But you have to make it a new Suda. You have to make it a new Suda. If you're sitting in the same place, you just get up, you wash, and sit back down, it's the same Suda. It's not a new Suda. Says the Magen Avram, you have to get up, walk around a little bit, and sit down, and now it's a new Suda.
The fact you have a new set of dishes doesn't make it.
It's not a new Suda. If you're in the same place, it's not called a new Suda. Says the Magen Avraham, you have to get up, walk around a little bit, and sit down. Now, some people go daven mincha, some people wait a long time. There's no reason for that. The way we pass it, there's no reason. You don't have to go daven mincha in the middle. Where the mistake comes from is that the Hilchas Tisha B'Av is the same question. People want to eat Sudas Mafsekes. By Sudas Mafsekes, you're only allowed to eat one thing. So they want to eat a whole Suda, bench, and now say my next Suda is a Sudas Mafsekes. So there says you can't do that. It's a bracha she'ein tzricha. You can't bench and wash again because you're in the middle of eating. There, you don't have the head of Shalosh Sudas. There you're not allowed to bench and wash again. It's a bracha she'ein tzricha. If you want to get rid of it, then you have to make sure that it's not a bracha she'ein tzricha. So if you're going to have a mincha, or if you're going to spend an hour in between, so then it's not a bracha she'ein tzricha. But here is no problem of bracha she'ein tzricha. Here the problem is only it's one suda. You have to separate the sudas. Therefore, by standing up and walking around the house a little bit and sitting back down, you have a new suda.
In the house, or you have to go outside?
No, in the house is fine also. You don't have to go outside. You don't have to have a mincha. Just all you got to do is separate the suda. You have to show that you're starting a new suda. That's enough. So it's not a bracha she'ein tzricha. Why isn't it a bracha she'ein tzricha? Because I'm changing the suda for a reason. I'm doing it because I want to eat Suda Shlishis. That is the Shabbos. The same thing will apply when someone is benching and washing again because you can't eat milchiks and fleshliks in the same Suda. The same thing will apply. There's no problem with bracha she'ein tzricha. What's the problem? You're not allowed to eat milchiks and fleshliks in the same Suda. So you bench, you stand up, you walk around a little bit, you sit back down. It's a new Suda. You have no problem. Now you can eat milchiks and fleshliks because it's two separate sudas. And it's not called the bracha she'ein tzricha because you're not allowed to eat milchiks and fleshliks in the same suda. So you have to go ahead and split the suda.
No, we do that because of a Zohar.
Because there's a I'm saying those who split the suda. Those who say you cannot eat milchiks and fleshliks in the same suda, so they're doing it for a reason. They're doing it for a reason. It's not bracha she'ein tzricha. I'm doing it because I'm not allowed to eat fleshliks now. I want to eat fleshliks, I'm not allowed to. It's in the same suda. So I'm benching.
Yeah, but going against the Rabbanan, bracha she'ein tzricha is Rabbanan, or the...
It could be this
I'm going against it with the Zohar.
I'm not going against it with the Zohar. The Zohar holds you're not allowed to eat the milchiks and fleshliks in the same suda.
Right.
So then it's not a bracha she'ein tzricha anymore. It's not a bracha she'ein
According to the
tzricha.
Zohar.
Yeah, because you're doing it for a reason. As long as you're doing it for a reason, it's not called a bracha she'ein tzricha.
What if I was in time of the Rashi? Before, when you...
Whatever the question
The
is,
Zohar is before Rashi.
What?
The Zohar is before, so the Zohar was a Talmud.
Yeah, but they didn't know.
They didn't know.
but the question is, must you have meat on Shavuot? Why can't you?
Okay, that's a good question.
In South Africa, most of the shuls only suggested you have milchik Shavuot.
So that's a different question. If you have a Suda that's only milchik and not fleshik.
The women made the menus.
And the truth is in halacha, it's very hard to be matchstick that because you're supposed to have basar on
Yom Tov, you said.
You're supposed to have meat on Yom Tov. To go have a milchik a Suda and not to have meat, it's not a Yom Tov.
What about fish?
Fish is enough. You have to have basar v'dogim, it says.
Yeah, so...
The question is dogim is enough.
Not basar o dogim.
The question is, it's not basar o dogim, it's basar udogim. The question is,
That's
fish
why you
is
have
enough.
to fish and chicken on your meal.
The most of the minhag Chayshol is that they at least one suda. Most people eat only milchiks, and there is people that are matztagit and they give reasons for it, even though there's no basar. So if someone has a milchik suda, they always have it. They always had it all the years. You can leave it. Yeah, you want to know if it's better if you're starting now new and you want to know what you should do. Oh, it's better to have fleshliks. But if someone has a minhag that they ate milchik suda, then yesh al mi lismoich. Someone who you can be soymach on. So therefore, if you want to go ahead and be machmir like the Zohar, you're allowed to bench, make out a michya, and go ahead and eat a fleshlik suda. That's not a problem. And the same thing with Shalosh Sudas. Come this week, you want to split the Sudas. You don't want to go to shul to have a mincha in between. All you got to do is bench, walk around a little bit, and sit back down. You don't have to wait a half hour. You don't have to wait an hour. A couple of minutes is more than enough to make Suda Shlishis.
Do shuls have an early mincha?
A lot of shuls have an early mincha. A lot of shuls have an early mincha. The question is why? You don't really need it. You don't need the early mincha. Because once it's...
That's what they do it, no?
The only reason why they do it is for a different, not alpha suda. The reason why they do it is because you're not supposed to eat shalosh shudas before mincha. You're supposed to eat shalosh shudas after mincha.
Right.
So that's why they have that mincha, because to be able to that you eat shalosh shudas after mincha. But it has nothing to do with splitting up the sudas. It has to do with eating shalosh shudas before mincha. That's another halacha which is very important, which is not known, is that, for those in the Basar Cholov, they know it, is that there's a problem with making, you mentioned milchige cookies, or milchige cake, or anything like that. The halacha says that it's also to make bread that's milchigs. You're not allowed to make a milchige bread. Why? Because you make a bread that's milchigs, I don't know it's milchigs, I'm going to come and eat it together with my meat. You eat basar v'cholov together. The halacha is, there's two conditions. You have to have one of the two conditions. Either that you're making just enough for the suda that's coming up. I mean, I'm going to sit down and eat a suda in an hour, so I prepare something with a milchige bread, and I'll finish everything in that suda. That's one heter. Another heter is you make it different than regular bread. You make a shape. And you know this shape means that it's milchigs. Those are the two heterim to go ahead and make a bread that's milchigs. Otherwise, you make a bread that's milchigs, you're not allowed to eat it, you have to throw it out. It's also to eat it. That's the halacha. The halacha is if you make a bread that's milchigs, there's a knas, you're not allowed to eat it, you have to throw it out.
It also applies to fleshig bread too.
Fleshig bread, the same thing. You want to put some schmaltz in your bread, you want to give it some taste, and you can't tell that's fleshig bread, it's also awesome. Ein lashon isa b'chalav. You can't make a dough with milk. Shemiyava l'achla and basar. V'im lash, and if you did it, chalav pas also. The whole pas is awesome. You're not allowed to eat it.
So they should also make an halacha that if you're having a challah they're using for a fleshig meal,
right,
afterwards you have to get rid of it.
Right? So very good.
It's the same idea. Right?
So very good. It's the same thing. The same idea, which if you have bread by a fleshig suda, right, Shabbos, you have challah by a fleshig suda, so that bread may become fleshig because if you touch with the fleshig hand, it becomes fleshig. So now that bread is fleshig. So why is it different than making a fleshig bread? You should have to throw it out. So there is a posek. His name is the Badei Shulchan. He says if you have bread for Shabbos on the table and you weren't careful not to touch it with the fleshig hands, now you can't eat it with milchigs. He says therefore you have to throw out that bread. That's what he says. A lot of posek argue, and they say no. When I went ahead and I made a fleshig bread, there was a knas. You can't eat it with milchigs. You can't eat it at all. But if a mistake, the bread became fleshiks, on that there was no knas.
Really? So you can
so you eat it the fleshiks, don't eat it with milchiks.
But how do you
don't have to throw it out.
Yes, you have to put it in a bag, and you have to buy it as fleshiks. That's why the best thing is, before you serve the challah in your house, before you serve the soup Friday night, get rid of the challah. Don't leave the challah lying around.
It's only the cut bread that's a problem.
Only the cut bread that's a problem.
Right. If you want more. Right.
Everybody has a challah plate.
That's only because of the knas, because otherwise I will have to throw away a lot of things. Let's say I have a hummus. The hummus may become fleshy.
Oh, one second. We'll get to that.
So I have to throw it away also.
So we'll get to that. So the knas
But I
was...
didn't make it like that.
The knas was if you make bread, ein lashon isa b'chalav. Let's say I'm not making lashon isa. I'm not making a dough. I'm making something else that has milk in it. I'm making a drink that has milk in it, and you can't tell. So you may come either with fleshiks also. I may drink it. I don't know. Let's say it's apple juice. I don't know with milk inside. Let's say someone would like that. No, milkshake you can tell it's milkshakes.
Right.
I'm talking about something you can't tell it's milkshakes. And you make a drink and you add milk to the drink, and now it's a milkshake drink. So you don't make that. You have to throw it out. So that we don't see it. It doesn't say that. The knas was on bread. And the question was how far you take that knas. Now there's something they make for Shavuot. A lot of bakeries make for Shavuot. They make milchige babka. I mean, they take kokosh cake or babka and they add milk to it, so it should be milchigs. So the question is, how do you do that? Because you're making a lot to sell, and there's no special shape to it that it says, oh, this is milchigs. So people don't know. They'll eat the cake and they'll eat fleshiks. So the chayr should be also to make these kokosh cakes or these cookies that are made milchiks, according to this mechaber, ein lashon isa b'cholov, you shouldn't be allowed to make it.
That's every cookie you see in a box which is dairy product in it. It's the same idea.
No, so the question is what it means. What is the dairy?
It looks like a regular cookie.
But it's a dairy cookie?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, it's dairy.
Or dairy equipment, something else.
No, let's say it's a dairy cookie. But
Dairy?
it looks the same.
Yeah, if it's a dairy cookie, you can have the same
Or
issue.
But it's not a bread. It's not a bread.
No, chocolate is milchiks. I know chocolate is milchiks.
No, some chocolate is milk, some is
Yeah, but
not
chocolate, I knows to be careful. It's milchiks and it's
You know, that
powder.
you can't be careful. You don't know. I mean,
Yeah, so the question.
you can read it.
Right, so there are some places that say that the gezeira was only on bread. Why? Because bread you usually eat together with the meat. You eat it together with the meat. The bread you eat together with the meat, so the gezeira is only on bread. Anything else, not. Some places can say no. Any isa, any dough, is the gezeira. So therefore, kokosh cake would be a problem. It's made out of dough. You know, you have the berekets and all these things. You can't tell the milchiks. It would be the same issue. A Danish, for example, if you can't tell it's milk, it wouldn't be a special shape. It would be usher. But when it comes down to anything else, like chocolate or anything like that, there, I think most of the places hold the gezeira didn't go that far. You can't make anything that's milchiks. We don't find that.
But it looks like we're not passing like this.
Why?
We're not careful with Danish. We don't throw away Danish.
No, so Danish is different. Danish is because a cheese Danish, you see it's a cheese Danish.
Right.
You know it's a special shape. It's a special shape, then it's okay. Anything that's a special shape that you know that it's milchiks, that's fine. The problem with the kokosh cake is, the same kokosh cake they had last week, this week has milk in it. It became milchiks. There could be a problem.
But we are not passing like that.
That depends who you ask.
Fact is, we don't throw away.
No, it depends who you ask. Some people say you're not allowed to go ahead. You're not allowed to go ahead and make a milchik kokosh cake. You're not allowed to. It'll be also to make it. Unless you're making a small amount for now, or you make it in your house in a special shape, then you know this kokosh cake is always milchiks. But if the bakeries are selling it and there's no special shape to it, and people don't know it's milchiks, then it can run into issues. It's going to depend how far we made this gezeira of eid loshen isa b'chalav. You can't make a dough with milk. Bread, for sure not. You cannot make bread, milchik bread. Even in your house you can't make milchik bread. Today, no one makes bread.
Unless it's for that suda.
Right, no one makes bread just for one suda. Usually you make bread, it's going to last you, you can put it away, you put it in the freezer, whatever it is. But to go ahead and make a milchik bread, unless you always have a special shape, this is a milchik bread. Otherwise you're not allowed to do it. I don't know why. It's not a known halacha for some reason.
In Eretz Yisrael, they made like a gezeira that the milchik
yeah, so that was
have to be triangled or something.
Right. So that was the question. They said that as a show they made the berekes has to be a triangle. The milchik ones have to be a triangle or something, a different shape.
Then you have to remember which
no, but the question is over there. All it says here is ein loshen es isa b'chalav. You can't go ahead and make a dough with milk. Something that when you cut it open, you see the cheese inside of it. And that, who said they made a gezeira? You cut it open, you see there's cheese inside. It's something that you can't tell that it's milchiks. It's a problem.
Yeah, but could be the piece that you're cutting. There's no cheese.
Yeah, but you cut it open, you can tell it's milchiks. We don't see they made that gezeira. It doesn't say you can't make a dough filled with milk, right, with cheese. It doesn't say that. It says you can't make a dough with milchiks in it. But if you made a dough and you stuffed it with cheese, that we don't find that it's also. So on the other things that are made, anything that's not made out of dough, that's made without a dough, for sure you can be samech l'hakol, that's not a problem.
Would it apply to something like a chocolate chip cookie that has milchik and chocolate chips in it?
Maybe.
Because you can't really tell if they're milchik or
right, maybe.
Chips.
You know, these things could be an issue.
You've got to watch the packaging, that's the big thing.
No, but the packaging is not enough.
Yeah, you don't have the
packaging is not enough.
But if it says butter, then you know.
It doesn't make a difference. You can't make it. It doesn't say you can make this Easter b'chalav and then label that it's milchiks. You can't do that. I want to make milchik bread, and I want to package it, and write on the package milchiks.
And sell it in your bakery.
You can't do that.
When you open the package and you don't.
You can't do that. You can't. The labeling doesn't help.
But you can have special containers, different containers.
It doesn't help different containers because you have to.
You know, a blue box that only says milchik cookies.
It doesn't make a difference. Once it's made, it's a problem. Once you make the dough, to go ahead afterwards and separate it and put it in a special container, it's not going to help you. You have to go, when it's made, it has to be made b'hechsher. So if you make it, and now, this is a milchik dough, and now you want to separate afterwards, you can't do it. It's way too late. That dough is a milchik dough, and it's awesome.
made the hechsher because I get it with a hechsher, with a core on it.
With a?
It has a core on it.
No, but the question is if it's milchiks.
Yeah, it's milchiks.
Yeah, but that doesn't
Milky
help.
cookies.
It could be kosher. It could be kosher. It could be there's no treifet inside.
Right.
But if it's milchiks, then it's a problem.
The problem is what? I take
Because
it from the store and I put it in a box where I always keep. It's blue and it always says milky cookies.
We don't see that in Mechaber. I'm going to make small chalas milchiks. I'm going to put it in a box and write in the milchiks. Doesn't say that. In the cookie itself, in the challah itself, it has to be a certain shape that it's milchiks.
So how does the COR give a hechsher to something?
What do they do? They give hechsher on cookies that are milchiks?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure they do. Sure they do.
Okay, so maybe there's saimach that's only something you eat with meat.
With what?
With meat. You eat directly with meat. He said some people hold kokosh cake as mutter. Why? Because you don't eat it directly with the meat. Only bread that you eat together with meat, they made the gzera. So maybe COR relies on that. And they hold that if you don't eat it, it's not something you eat together with the meat.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. Even though you can eat it after meat. Right? You can take that cookie, you can eat fleishiks, and then for dessert you can pull out this kokosh cake or this cookie, you're going to eat it. So why shouldn't there be a problem? Eating milchiks after fleishiks?
Yeah, you're yucky. You only keep half an hour.
No, but it could be the gzera was never made on such things. Could be. I guess you are b'sleimich on that heter that it's only pas. But anything that's not pas is not a problem. You go ahead and eat it together. You can go ahead and make it milchiks. But to go make bread milchiks, which I have seen done for Shavuot, that's a very big issue. Yeah. To go ahead and make bread, milchik bread or fleishik bread, that everyone agrees is a problem. Because you're not doing it just for one suda. The only heter would be is if every time you make that milchik bread, you make it a certain shape, and everybody knows that shape is milchiks. Otherwise, or you eat it for that suda. But if you're making it for, even if you're making it for one suda on Shavuot, that's it. I'm putting it in the freezer, and I'm making it for one suda on Shavuot. It's not good enough. It has to be done for the suda now that I'm eating. It doesn't mean for one suda. It means now it's not going to be sitting around. I'll be eating it now. But once it's sitting around,
it has to be the first meal.
right? It has to be the meal right now that's coming up.
The first meal that you make it before.
You're making it, you're eating it right now.
So what if somebody made a milchik dough for pizza that they were going to have, and there's leftover pizza?
So milchik dough for pizza, there's a different heter. Because you're right, when you're making the dough, it's milchik, it's usher. You gotta make a milchik dough. But by the time you're baking it, you added cheese to it already. So then everyone sees this milchiks. Everyone sees this milchiks.
What if you're not?
That's the question. When you go and you make a dough, a pizza dough, and you add milk to the pizza dough. So now the dough is a milchik dough. You can't make a milchik dough. How are you allowed to do that? So the answer is because I'm not going to bake this dough the way it is. I'm going to put cheese in it. I'm not finished yet. I'm going to flatten it out. I'm going to put cheese in it. When I bake it, it's already fully done. But if you go ahead and bake the dough first, and then add cheese and tomato sauce to it, and then rebake it, with that on it, you can't do that. Because now it's already a milchik dough.
Unless you're eating it all right now. But if you have leftovers,
that's eating all right now. Right. If you have leftovers, you have to throw it out. Fine. No, we have to for Shavuos. I'll leave you with a question. I'll leave you with a question for Shavuos. I'd like to hear the answer. I don't have an answer yet. I tried yesterday to find an answer. So if anybody can get an answer, we greatly appreciate it. We know that one of the reasons they say why we eat milchiks on Shavuos is because the kelim that the Jews didn't have, was treif, because they ate the veilus of treifas before Matan Torah, and there came time, Matan Torah, they had to kasher the kelim. They couldn't kasher the kelim, so they ate milchiks. That's one of the reasons it's brought down in the Mishnah brings down that reason. The question is, when was Klal Yisrael Mitzvah? When were they told about Hagalos Kelim? Hagalos Kelim they were told by Pashas Matos, by Mechemes Midyan. Before Mechemes Midyan, they didn't know anything about Hagalos Kelim. So that means B'Shas Matan Torah, they didn't know anything about kashering Kelim. So what did the Jews do? What did they do with the Kelim they had that had treifas in it before Matan Torah? They got the Torah, and now they have treif in the Kelim. They kasher the kelim. They didn't know anything about kasher and kelim yet. They didn't get tomatos.
They got new kelim.
They bought new kelim in the midbar. That's obvious. Where did they get Kalim from?
That's where they got it from.
They were not
They
having
got it
milk.
from those guys outside the.
Yeah, but there's
mafia.
treifus in there.
Those nomads.
Treifus. They had treifus in there.
That's
They had
what they
before Mount Torah. They had treifus.
They got from the nomads.
So you're not asking for milk.
Wouldn't there be like
You're not
traveling?
asking
They
milk.
did,
No,
the Midianite guys.
no,
Remember, they.
Hesher Kalim.
Wouldn't there be like traveling?
I don't know.
There'll be traveling.
I don't know what happened.
Traveling.
It doesn't say that.
No, they have.
Why? How come the Abisha did not tell them Hagalas Kalim? They knew that the Kalim were treif. So after they got the Torah, they knew that the Kalim were treif. They knew they're not allowed to use it.
They got word.
So they got rid of it.
They got word.
You're saying why they why they waited 40 years?
How did they wait to Mechemes Midyan to give them the mitzvah Hagalas Kalim? What happened to the Kalim Klai Yisrael had B'Shas Matan Torah?
Did they have legal
My
in it?
brother knows that answer.
Maybe they didn't
Nothing. There's no Liban or Hagalas Kalim. Nothing. Liban or Hagalas Kalim is the same parsha. In Midyan. The Ramban asked a kasha, and the Shem deal with this a lot. Why by Mechemes Midyan when they got? Why by Mechemes Midyan was there Hagalas Kalim? Because they got the Kalim from the Goyim. So after Ramban, there was a Muhammad before that. There was Sichon V'Oig. Also they got Kalim. And the Rishonim are very busy to answer that question. Why by Sichon V'Oig they weren't Mesuva on Hagalas Kalim yet? But the question is, forget about Sichon V'Oig. What happened to Matan Torah? They had the Kalim. The Klai Yisrael had Kalim in their possession that was used for treifus. How come they didn't have Hagalas Kalim? Before Matan Torah, they ate in the veil. It's treifus.
They had mud.
They had more than no behemoths. They had behemoths. They had Slav.
The Slav.
They had a Slav.
Yeah.
So what happened to those Kalim?
Well, the Slavs was good. It's not treifus. Slavs was treifus.
Slav, it's in the veil. They didn't shecht it. Hit it over the head and they ate it.
So how do they eat it? That's what they did.
They didn't have a shit.
They didn't have to shechit. And the chir, what's on the chir was mutter for them.
Till
Till after Matan Torah.
Slav is like
before
a
Mantara.
Yeah.
Slav is like a bird, no?
Yeah.
So you eat with your hands.
That was before Mantara.
Yeah, but you have to shecht it.
It's like cheese with your hands. Don't just kill him.
So the question is, the Kalim, the Klai Yisrael had.
After Mantara.
No, but you have here the what's called again they say the reason why they ate milk was because they had to kasher the Kalim. So you see they had to kasher the Kalim. See there was a problem. Who said anything about kasher the Kalim? The Klai Yisrael didn't know anything about kasher the Kalim. And that's even more. Klai Yisrael in the midbar till Midyan, they ate chametz. So the king came to Pesach. What did they do? They had no Kalim for Pesach. They have to kasher the Kalim for Pesach. They didn't have any dinim of extra Kalim. Extra Kalim first came when after the 40 years of Mechemes Midyan.
But after the Slav, until the end, they only ate mud. There was no meat afterwards.
They had behemoths. They had animals.
They ate behemoths.
They had behemoths. So what did he say? They didn't have any behemoths.
Yeah.
They just did Mamon, I thought.
Did they know about
You know, it's another question. Zeb
I
Behemoth.
don't know. The Pasha's not.
Zeb Behemoth, they was asking for me.
And then they would have to have extra Kalim, maybe.
If they knew that, then it's not shy this 2 Shavuos ago, because they couldn't do Haggalah without waiting a day anyway.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be.
So the whole question about gold doesn't. The whole reason doesn't make sense.
So you said Zeb Behemoth, so why they were asking for meat?
There wasn't enough behemoths.
They ate Behemoth. Behemoth, right? So they was asking for meat. That's actually having them trying.
So let's speak about it. What happened to the behemoths they had with them? I'm trying to speak about it myself.
So they couldn't kasher.
The question after the question too.
Yeah, why did they have to come out the more?
So they used their same kalim for milchus? What about basar b'challah?
Maybe they're separate kalim. Milchus and fleshiks.
They always did?
I don't know.
Only after Matan Torah they would have been.
So before Matan Torah, they did the same kalim for milchus and fleshiks, so it became treif.
Yeah.
So they have to go. Why did so how did they use those kalim?
Okay, stay tuned.
Yes, I'd love to hear an answer.